Iran has held the first funeral services for President Ebrahim Raisi, killed in a helicopter crash on Sunday, along with other top officials. Raisi became president in 2021 and was seen as a deeply conservative and hardline leader. A remembrance procession for all those who died in the crash saw an outpouring of mourners.
Tens of thousands of Iranians escorting their president to his final resting place. Ebrahim Raisi and several other officials died after their helicopter went down in heavy fog, striking a blow to the Islamic Republic's leadership at a time of unprecedented tension in the region. External danger has never brought the Iranian people to their knees. People have always been united against external danger throughout history. May their souls rest in peace. And may the nation be able to deal with this issue and everything return to normal, thanks to God. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, picked this man, Vice President Mohammad Makhbar, to lead the country until a new president can be elected. Makhbar has 50 days to hold the vote. Raisi's death may weaken Iran's conservative establishment. He was a protege of Khamenei and was seen as a potential successor to the aging leader. Hardliners strengthened their control of parliament in Iran after recent elections, but voter turnout was at a historic low, thanks in part to economic restrictions and people's frustration with strict religious laws. With no clear line of succession, Raisi's death could ignite infighting within the government. If that happens, Iran's politics may be reshaped for decades to come.
Kamran Martin lectures at the University of Sussex on international relations. He's an expert on Iran. We just saw thousands of mourners in the report, but how sad a day is this for the wider public, for a man called the Butcher of Iran by many?
Indeed, which is why I don't think we should read too much into the footages coming out of Iran. Iranian state media has developed, very much expertise in producing such images for external consumption. Even the records of participation in the election, which is produced by Iranian regime itself, shows extremely low interest in Iranian institutions and participation in politics. And of course, Mr. Raisi is known or remembered by many Iranians because of his participation in the so-called Death Committee in the 1980s, especially in 1988, when thousands of Iranian political prisoners were executed, and he was one of the four-man committee which implemented a fatwa by Ayatollah Khomeini, who had asked for prisons to be cleared from these political prisoners. But in any case, his death clearly poses some challenge to the Islamic Republic, but I'm not sure this will be something which will go out of control. Elections are very much pre-engineered in Iran because of the nature of the system. There is a unelected body which has to approve all the candidates who want to stand in elections, and in that sense, the wishes of the supreme leader will be implemented one way or the other.
We're just looking at live pictures there of the funeral services. What's the message from the Assembly of Experts, which is meeting today to discuss a successor on the very day of this funeral?
In fact, the very fact that the Assembly of Experts, which has only been recently elections for which took place, is meeting, despite the fact that there is no actually president to be there, and on paper, if Raisi was alive, he would he would have a leading role in discussions in the Assembly of Experts today, and would probably have been elected as the speaker for the Assembly, and therefore giving him some power in shaping the discourse around selecting the next leader. Which is why actually for some people this whole incident or helicopter crash seems a bit suspicious in terms of potentially a kind of internal purges or internal settling accounts, paving the way for potential selection of Khamenei's own son, who many see as the preferred candidate of the regime to succeed Ayatollah Khamenei as the supreme leader. So we have to see how the discussions in the Assembly of Experts will unfold. But as I said, the members of this assembly are vetted by a body whose members are actually appointed by the supreme leader himself. So in a way, I don't think there will be many big surprises in the discussions.
You mentioned his own son being a favourite. That sounds like a return to the old system before the Iranian Revolution. Surely that would cause some sort of unrest.
Yes, I mean, there has been a lot of noise about it within the regime, especially reformists, warning against a sort of hereditary system against which Iranian revolution itself took place in 1979. But I mean, the reins of power are in the hands of Supreme Leader and IRGC, Revolutionary Guards. They have all the instruments of power, and also there is no figure left within the establishment who would command a wide recognition and respect, so that a smooth transition could take place. So I think in the case of Khamenei, IRGC and the actual power of the security establishment will play a key role. And Khamenei's son, for years and years, has been cultivating relations with IRGC, very close to them. So for many people, it's not inconceivable that despite the resemblances of the previous regime, his son might be succeeding his father. But in an authoritarian system, as you know, or your viewers also know, things can go in unpredictable ways, and we have to see how these internal differences will be negotiated, especially in the coming presidential elections to replace Raisi after his demise in this incident of helicopter crash.
Briefly, Cameron, if I can ask you, what is the possibility of change for the people? What sort of hope is there when it comes to the economic hardship, the oppression, the regional instability caused by Iran's establishment?
I very much doubt that the Iranian regime will change course given the advanced level of its nuclear program, which it sees as a bargaining kind of chip in negotiations with the West. With the reformists completely out of the system, the regime by definition has shifted to the kind of right, and it has reoriented itself towards China and Russia, as we know in international relations. And the prospect of also Donald Trump winning elections in America and taking even a harder line against Iran means that things in Iran will not get better politically or economically under the current regime. But as I said, neither the power of the people can be predicted, as we saw in a couple of years ago, the Women, Life, Freedom protest, but also in fighting in the absence of Khamenei, who would kind of reconcile different factions, might lead to a sort of situation in which the regime might actually implode from within in the coming years.
Great getting your take. Kamran Martin, Senior Lecturer for International Relations at the University of Sussex. Thanks for being on DW again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Let's bring in Nilufar Gulami here from DW's Persian service to talk to us about what's going to happen in Iran now that the President Raisi, is dead. We know there's an interim president and an election is going to be held, but could we see a power struggle at the top in Iran?
Yeah, after Khamenei's approval and under Article 131 of Iran's constitution, Vice President Mohammad Mokhber temporarily assumed Raisi's duties. And according to the state media, there will be a presidential election on June 28th. Mokhber is a member of IRGC and very close to the Supreme Leader Khamenei, and he has been a key figure in many financial institutions that are vital for the regime and financial empire of Khamenei. In my opinion, there won't be a major power struggle. The next president, no matter hardliner or reformist, will be loyal to Khamenei. Here is the only matter of disagreement between the two political factions. However, in principle, both are committed to the Islamic Republic existence. And of course, it's not clear how long Khamenei will be alive. And if at the time of his death, IRGC and its supporters have more power, it will be a big win for after Khamenei's era, unless the people of Iran can disrupt this game.
Nilufar, thank you very much for taking time for us today. That was Nilufar Gulami from DW's Persian Service. Thanks for watching.